Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Bucket's Garage. Today, we have a Honda Trail 70. It's a 1972. This is not the original engine. Besides, it's got a nice chip out of the side of the block. The number is 248. The number up here is 204. So since this is not the original engine, I'm not going to worry too much about changing this engine out. Frame has got some scratches on it. Someone peeled off the stickers. So what I'm going to do, I've got this nice little 4-speed Chinese engine. I'm pretty sure will run to 107cc. And we're going to mount it on this bad boy. Maybe fix this thing up a little bit. I'm going to paint these wheels, change these tires. I might have a better wheel for the rear. That way I won't have to sand that sucker down. Change this exhaust, put this one on, because this one's busted off. So, I don't know why I'm looking at the motor, engine, because the engine I'm taking off. Handlebars are good, speedometer's good. Seat needs a new seat cover. Well, we're just going to make this a rider for now. Fix these shocks up a bit. Maybe clean them up. It's got chrome on it there. It's got some chrome. Make it go faster. Let the wind glide through. So let's check this out. I tell you what. We're probably going to leave the original harness, and I'll show you how I integrate it with the harness I'm going to use. So we're going to go with the 12-volt system. This is a 6-volt. So I'm going to integrate it with this system so I don't have to cut up the original harness in case somebody wants to put this back to the original engine. So, here we go. I just strapped it. I know you guys don't, all of you guys have a lift. But I strapped it on both sides to hold it up straight to get it off the kickstand. First thing you want to take off is these bolts off the rack here. So you're going to have two 10mm bolts up here. Remove those. Then away underneath, 12mm. Yes, 12mm. There's 4. That's going to drop your foot pegs and this rack. So the two front ones will drop your rack. Then it'll remove these foot pegs off this engine. So let me get that off for you. And we'll be right back in a second. Alrighty, now we have the bottom off the top of this. So we got the rack off. Now, if you do have the exhaust on, all you have to do is remove the exhaust bolts is right here. You got one here, one over here, and they're 10mm. I'm not going to remove this one because I won't need to, but you can remove those with the 10mm. That'll take your exhaust off, which most Trail 70s will have a nut on here, which is 14mm, I believe. It's either 13 or 14. You'll have another one up here holding the exhaust, this here, which will be probably 13 or 14. That'll take your exhaust off, which we'll get this one out of the way. That's the exhaust that will be going back on. Now, make sure your spark plug wire is disconnected from the engine. And then we're going to have when we drop this engine, there's a wiring harness plugged in here. We're going to unplug that wiring harness. You're going to want to take these bolts out, which is 14mm, I do believe, but these ones are already missing. We're going to pull those nuts off. And I do believe it should be on the other side, the nuts. Nah, this one's right. Yeah, this one should be correct too. They're going in the right way. So, and then you'll have one here, which goes through the engine. So you can want to put a wrench on there to hold it. I do believe that is 14mm. 14 millimeter. And we should be able to drop this engine. So be careful when you do drop the engine that you don't yank really hard on this wiring harness, which it looks like it's unplugged already on this one. Yes, indeed it is. So, this engine will be ready to drop. Now, typically I like dropping the top volt first. The engine will drop down a bit like this. It'll give you enough room to reach in here and get this unplugged before you take this bottom one out. So get the top one first, let it drop down a bit, like that. That way you can get this unplugged. Your hoses are going to be coming out of here for the fuel, so that's going to be out of the way anyhow. And now this motor's ready to come out. I'll just take this bolt out, and I'm ready to take this engine out. Yeah, buddy. The engine dropped. Starting to look naked now, ain't it, boys? Whoa. Get some clothes on. You're naked. So, yeah, looking kind of weird without the engine there, but the engine is now gone. What I'm going to do here now is go inside after you pull your gas tank out. So the one's missing out of here. Go ahead and pull your gas tank out. You're going to have to remove the battery box. Once you get the battery box out, which is two 10 millimeter bolts on either side, you're going to have a cover over this where your gas tank is, which is two 10 millimeter bolts on that. Remove those 10 millimeter bolts. The cover in the tank probably will come out all at once. It's going to come out like kind of back and out. So I don't have one here at the moment. So I'm going to reach inside. I'm going to pull up the harness. It kind of looks like someone's been into it before. It's got electrical tape on it. Pretty stiff there. But you're going to have green, yellow, green, red, and black. Naturally, your black is for the coil. Green is your like ground. It goes to the lighting coil. And your yellow, that was for also from the coil, lighting coil, which is AC. And then you have the, let me do a little zoom. If I can. There we go. That green, that's your neutral switch, which is actually cut off or broke off, one of the two. But it's for the neutral light. All right, I'll show you what I'm going to be doing here. Integrate this wiring harness. Now I got to tell you, your coil is mounted under the engine. You got two 10 millimeter bolts to remove that 6 volt coil that is under your engine here. So before you put your engine in, make sure you get that coil out. So you're gonna want to put the 12 volt coil for this engine. So I'm gonna remove that, and then when we put the engine back on, I'm gonna start and put the bolt up here first instead of taking this one out last. So you're gonna go in reverse. You're gonna put this one here because the engine's gonna be balanced up there because you're gonna fight it if you try to get down here. So, alrighty. Alright guys, I placed the coil. Typically the back hole where the two holes are mounted is your best place for that. Yeah, it's used coil, it's not new. It's got a nice length to it. Comes out right here. Come out the top. So, yeah, I mounted it right there. So now that I got the coil mounted, I'm not going to worry about the wiring right now because I got to change this. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to cut all that up. Now we're going to mount this engine. Like I said before, you want to start with that hole. You might need 2 guys. Hold it up there. Or a jack. Or Superman strength. Now that the engine's mounted, nice and snug, don't forget your washer, guys. Put your washers in. And I'm going to put the foot pegs back on, and I think I'm going to hang on before I put this rack on. So let's get these foot pegs on. And remember, there is a couple different sizes here. I do believe the front ones are a little longer than the rear. The rear is going to be a little bit shorter. The other one kind of skedaddled somewhere. Not quite sure where. Probably fell off onto the floor. So, anyhow, the two front ones are going to be longer. Don't forget your washers. There's one there. I'm going to have to find the lock washer. And these are for your rear. All right. Now that we actually have foot pegs on, nice and snug, with your 12 millimeter bolts, just the rear ones. I didn't mount the front ones yet. But now what we're going to do, I'm going to fix this wiring here. Actually, this is from an older engine that the pickup coils broke off. And he had changed it, but it's got a good lighting coil on it. And this is your coil for igniting the coil. And this is your lighting coil. And this is your neutral safety switch, which is actually broke off on this one anyway. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to show you how you can just add this in if you want to have for the lights, because this thing does have lights on it. We're going to pull this off, and I'm going to integrate this, get this to work in there. Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to have to get this bolt off, which looks like a 13 millimeter. Definitely not a 12. Yeah, I lied. It's probably 14. Let me see. Oh, my. Yes, I was right. It is a 14. Look at there. 14 millimeter. And don't forget, you need to get one of these. One of the best tools I ever had if you're working on a lot of these engines. So I think in a couple of videos before I showed you where you can get this. I think you could check out the changing the head on a CT70. So check out that video and it'll show you where you can pick one of these up online. It's perfect to get these off. In fact, I'll show you. So you take your 14 millimeter, and this is the right way it comes off. This here screws on in reverse. And then it starts, and it's like you're unscrewing, but it's actually tightening up. Once you get it down there snug, you don't have to go crazy on it. Just get it snug. And I do believe that's 17. My 17 millimeter. Yep. And then you just screw inward. Look at that. Just like downtown, guys, come right off. No hitting, no fuss, no muss. Now you can see that's just a coil igniter with a pickup coil. I'll make sure it's clean with no grindy stuff on it. And there's your lighting coil. See, I can mount it right here. Holes are already there. Well, it's just another Friday cold day today. So, but next week is Thanksgiving. Yeah, can't wait for that. But anyway, guys, I got this off now. What I'm going to have to do, I've got all this off the bad plate. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to have to grind this little tab off here because the Hondas, they had screws in there. Well, they did a little on that. Let me show you. There you go. So right there, they flatten those out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to grind it, I think. Unless I find my really sharp pliers here. I like these pliers. These things are nice and sharp. I don't know if this will work. Yeah, it kind of works. Kind of cut it off. Be better off just using a pencil grinder on that. which I'm probably end up doing that just to get a nice cleaner thing here. I thought it would pop right off, but no, it's not. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to clean it up a bit. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this kind of flat so I can get this one tab up. I'm not going to bother with this side. I'm going to lift this tab up, drill a tiny little hole in there so I can put a screw. I could tap it, do it right, but I actually probably just going to use a self-tapper to put in there. Because we're going to have to lift this up in order to get this harness out. Because I want to integrate this new harness, which is right here, into it. So let me get this ground down a bit, cleaned up, and we'll go and I'll show you what I did from there. Now what I do like is using this. I got this nice, I forget where I even found this at. This nice little sharp cleanup tool. Now you don't want to hit this coil and nick it. Probably better off taking it off. Me, you know what? Better safe than sorry, guys. I'm going to pull that off just so I don't nick it. Yeah, that's a smart idea, Buckets. Yeah, oh, look at that. Oh, shit. Maybe not a good idea. Well, that turned out to be a nightmare. Well, they use Loctite. And unfortunately, guys, it snapped the head of the bolt off. So I'm going to try to heat it up, see if I can work it out. Get that thing nice and hot. Yay. At least it didn't break off flush. The other one's going to be a little more tougher. I guess this is the things that happen. I should have left it on. I could have put a piece of steel over the coil and I wouldn't have ever hit it. Yeah, there's a million little things I could have done. Now you don't want to get it too hot because you'll melt your aluminum. Or break it off. Let's see if this is going to work. Of course, we're going to have to hurry because the tool's nice and cold. Yeah, that worked. That's the easy one. I guess I should have did a hard one first. Then I'm going to have to try to find these bolts. Nuts, screws, fasteners. Gotta have to try to find these fasteners. All right, got one more to do. Let's see if I can get that one out. I'll be back. All right, so now, after the little setback of getting these out, this one I had to drill out, retap it, and this one I drilled in. Can't get a good zoom on there. There you go. And I put a concaved screw in there. That one's done. And now we have the lighting coil. Of course, now this coil is continuing. I'm going to blow this off. And let's put this back on and actually see if we have spark. All right, fellas. Even though I got a wiring nightmare looking thing going on here, well, we'll get into all that. I got it plugged in. Nothing's rubbing up here. I got the coil connected up here. The CDI box. And of course, this is your voltage regulator. That's what most of these. This is actually a kill wire right here with the white and black. This is ground. That's going to go to the battery. So then, of course, I'll ground to the battery. Well, let's see if this thing has spark. Of course, I'm going to use the thing you're not supposed to use. I still got the spark plug in it, but this is just a spare plug here. So, and And look at there, we got spark. Hey, I got a fun thing to do. Hang on. I want to see if this engine has any life in it. Because I never started this engine. Oh, there you are. Hey. So, I never started this engine. So, I'm going to use my little dinosaur juice, I guess, or chemical juice. Just squirt a little bit in that hole. Fire in the hole! Holy buckets! Look at that. It's going to run. All right. Now, I guess I got to finish doing my wiring job here. Yeah. We're going to wire this in now. This is next. Well, guys, it's a new day. It is now Saturday morning for me. I had to go in and eat my wing night. And yes, it was wing night again last night. Yeah. Whew. I love that wing night. Wife makes the best wings ever. So, all right. Now we're going to get into this harness today. The rat's nest. I was peeling this back on the original harness. Someone was into this already, and they cut it up. Unfortunately, ruining the original harness. And this wire here is your neutral light. So I'm going to leave that off. I'm just going to leave this alone. I checked the contacts. They all seem to be good. I cut this off. I got a big box of wiring harnesses from motorcycles and stuff. Found the exact same plug. Of course, the color codes ain't going to be the same. Green, it's opposite. I'll show you how you can change that around real quick. If you want to be politically correct on that, just I'll show you how to do that. Let me get into that. Let me show you how to switch these wires around so you can have the exact same color code. All right. So now, what you want to do is pick some of these up, these little picks. You can get these at Barter Freight. And actually, it's Harbor Freight, but Barter Freight. You can unplug it. Okay, let's make sure the black one's already correct. So the black is already correct on that one. We're going to want to switch this yellow and green one around. Here's green and yellow. So let's do this, these two here. What you want to do, I'm going to zoom in on it. There we go. On the inside, right here, you just want to push that in. Push it in a little, oops, sorry about that, guys. Trying to look at two things at once here. The camera and this. You push that in. It should be pushed in enough that you can pull it out, just like that. And then, it's going to look like this. You're going to pull this tab up just a little bit. You want to go back out. You can push it from behind as well. Don't go out too far. And don't push it too much because that tab will actually break off eventually. Hey, wow. My turbo heater just made a boom noise. So you're going to look like that. So let's get this other one off. I think now I got to look. Yeah, it was the red one had to go. So this red one, which is definitely not the right color code. I'm going to look at that harness and see if I got another plug somewhere. Wire, it's green. I want to be politically correct on this. Now, you can put a little tension on it at the same time if you're trying not to film. Just push on the inside. It's like doing dental work here. Yeah, it brings back bad memories of dental work. And pull that out, which is not working for me. You might want to push up a little bit. That's the key. Push up a bit, make sure you get the pressure off it. That should do it. Just like that. This one's out. Pull that little tab out. Now you can switch it. Now you can go back in. You got to make sure you go back in the same way. Make sure you have that little slot here. Make sure that's where that tab is going to go, and you're just going to push it right through. So, matter of fact, here's the green one. Want to make sure, double check, I'm not going to make a mistake here. That's the green side. Green side goes here. And then you just push this back in. Click. Just like that. Here, let me zoom out. That might help quite a bit. I'm sorry. So there you go. That's all you have to do to switch those around. The black's correct. The green's correct. Of course, the yellow on here is a red wire. Now, if I have another one of these somewhere with a yellow one on it, I might steal it off there and put it in there instead of the red. So it's actually so you can see where it actually goes. Doesn't confuse the next person you sell this to. All right, so that's how we do that. I'm going to wire this in. So what I'm going to do, I'm sure this could be hard to follow because this is a rat's nest. What I did is I took a harness that was off one of those Chinese four-wheelers and cut off all the unnecessary wiring it didn't need. There was like an alarm, there was extra headlight wiring. The only thing I needed was the CDI box wiring, the plugs into the engine, and of course your voltage regulator. The wires go into the coil. It's right here. If you're paying attention to it, you can figure it out pretty easily. You know, of course, the white and black is your kill switch for your ignition. The yellow, which what I'm going to do, this is the AC in. Of course, is going to go to the yellow of your wiring harness, which is on this one's going to be red since I didn't have the correct color. I'm going to solder it, put some shrink tube on it. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter so it's a little more manageable. Now the same with this wire here. I left it on. This went to the battery. So this is going to go to, of course, your battery. This red wire right here, I'm actually going to connect it to the Trail 70 where where these three wires come out of the harness. You got black, green, and red. These two went to typically the voltage regulator for the 6-volt system. You're not going to use the green. That's just ground. So I'm going to put that red to that one here. So basically this is going to get soldered. I'm going to put a push-in plug here. That'd be done. So then all that is politically correct. Now your green, well, this is blue and yellow, which is the neutral wire. Which on this one, the neutral wire, since it is missing off here anyhow, I'm just going to go ahead and solder it right directly to it because it's already off. Of course, your black, the solid black, is coming for, that is your kill ignition. So that's actually what I'm going to do with this white and black one is going to solder that onto that wire. I'm going to straighten all this goofiness up here. I may cut this off and resolder nice connections. Make this all look real nice. And then, of course, you got your ground. You're going to want to find a good chassis ground here. So let me get all this soldered up, fixed up here, get this thing rolling. And we'll show you when it's done. If you have any questions, hey, if you want me to do more detail for you, leave it in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And that's it. We're going to end this. This is going to be a slow video. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and put the carburetor on, get the exhaust on, get it running. But this is going to be a two-part series. This will be this week and next week. Hopefully I'll have this done. I'll have the wheels on. We'll do clean up the wheels, put the seat, get it all fixed up. But basically, this is the longest part, is really trying to get this 12-volt system integrated. Yeah, I could have bought a harness. I know not everybody can afford a new wiring harness for a 12-volt system. I'm just integrating it with the original. That way I can put all the original equipment back on without cutting wires and destroying the frame. If someone wants to go back to original, boom, there you go. It's all back to original. Take all the other stuff off, unplug it, and you're good to go. All right, let's get this thing straightened up. Oh, I got some work ahead of me here. I'll be at it for a little while. Maybe not. We'll see. All right, guys. Now that I got all the wiring straightened out, get it all taped up, not looking like a rat's nest anymore. And now hook it up, see if we still got spark. All right, have it all plugged in, guys. Yeah, got the wire plugged into the the old voltage regulator was. Of course, I got this plugged into the ground. I don't think I'm gonna have to have it there, but I just did it anyway. CDI's connected. There's a spark. Let's see if we got spark. Uh-oh. And I do have lights. I turn the key on, and the light comes on. Shut the key off, light goes off. In the lighting position. So, let's turn this thing over and see if let's get some spark. All right. Now, let's see here. Yipper. We have spark. So let's get this wiring harness tucked away neatly. And we'll continue on getting this engine to run today. All right, guys. Got it all. Got the gas tank in. And got all the wiring in, tucked in nice. I'll put this in here. There's a little rubber that comes with the CDI boxes, usually on those four-wheelers. It would slide on here. Unfortunately, I don't have it at the moment. I'm going to have to find it. And then I can slide that CDI box on here so it's sturdy on this box. Because the original box actually has a nice slide for it. The 10 millimeter, I'm going to tighten this up. I put my grounds onto there. The one ground for the battery. The other battery is coming out here because I don't have a small battery yet. I have to go up to Sickle Supply and probably get one of those. Gel cell. Just for the lighting. And then your CDI. CDI, your voltage regulator. Put it right on the rail. And put a zip tie on it. Holds it in there pretty nicely. It's out of the way. It's out of the seat mechanism. So all that's done. And as you can see, I got the key ignition in now. Turn it on. You got lights. On, off. So hopefully, and I do have spark. All right. Now we got that established. Let me go upstairs and get a Trail 70 neck for that. We'll put the carb on. See if we can get this sucker to run. The wiring's hooked up. I've got a brand new carburetor. The other one was pretty sad shape, and a couple other ones I checked out were pretty sad shape. Oh yeah, and so that one was in pretty bad shape. That one was brand new. I said, oh well, I'm gonna put it on. So this one's on, and I did start it. Runs pretty good. I'm gonna show you, and all the lights work too. So let's do contact. Of course, tail light is on now. I just dropped my starter key. So, all right, let's give it a little more gas. Doing it one-handed now. Okay. Purr like a kitten. Lights on the dash work. I got the headlight working, which is a 12-volt bulb. Tail light. Now, what I did with the headlight, I'm sorry, I should have showed you. Since this one was burned out, I took a pair of pliers to the back and I broke that solder off. Broke the inside of that old bulb out of there and left the hole there. Well, a GM fog light bulb fit right in there. It's not going to have high and low, but the GM fog light fit right in there, right in that hole. So I put a couple wires on it. Boom, got a headlight. Who needs bright and dim? So I just hooked it up to the bright, so the red light indicator's on, so it's on bright all the time. That way you know your headlights are on. Because you can shut your headlights on and off right here anyway. You got on, and your headlights. And just regular on and then off. Okay. She's shaping up. Now, in case you guys are wondering, now with the headlight, this one was burned out. This is a sealed unit. Now, if you guys didn't know, all these it's soldered in. See the solder around here? Now, if you want, you can heat it up, take the solder out, and then yank it out. And the bulb will not come out of that hole. It's a huge bulb. I just took a pair of vice grips like this. And I grabbed it like this. And I twisted it around until I got it out. And yanked it out and the bulb was inside there. Take yourself a little Phillips. Pop that bulb in there. Break it out. Take your finger. Hold it over the hole. Shake it up until it all breaks apart. You might have to do it a few times. Break it up. And then it'll fall all out of there and it's all gone. Then you're good. Now you have an empty, clean hole. Now, what I did here is I'm using a fog light bulb out of a GM. This one's for GM anyway. Let's see if we can, I'll show you the number on here. You can barely see it. It's all worn out. I used one. Let me get a good focus here. There we go. Looks like GE 880, 12 volts. H2W. You can see the top. And that's the top number. So anyway, that's off a GM. This is like off a 2008 or 2005 GMC. I had some extra ones. I put LEDs in my truck, so I kept those for some reason. Well, anyway, they fit right in there. What I did is I bent over the holes a bit. I just bent it a little bit so the bulb will slide right in there. Let me show you. Tripods are always kind of like the best when camera girl's not around. Hey, I'm going to have to reach way over here. So, you put the bulb in. Actually, I'm going the wrong way. The way I bent these holes. Turn it until it's nice and snug. Oh, yeah. You can either cut the wiring off an old vehicle or just use your spade connectors. Is what I put here. And slid them on. There is no positive negative with these. Now, a crafty way of doing it, I've done it before, is I used LED bulbs. I just put a diode in there. So I can use an LED light. It was kind of cool looking. But since this ain't a really totally fixed up bike. And here. Now it's in. Let me see. I'll show you how that works. We'll start this whole thing up. We'll get into that. Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's shaping up. I'm going to make this a two-part because it's taking so long to do stuff on this thing. This is like almost a total rat rod rebuild. That's it, because I'm not totally fixing this thing up. This is just going to be a rider with a 4-speed. So I still got to make the clutch cable. Got to fix the exhaust. Still got to find wheels for it. These wheels are junk. So, a lot of little stuff I'm going to do to it. So next week, we'll give this thing a ride. Whether it's snowing or not, I'm going to ride that thing. Yeah, I'll ride this thing out in the snow. I don't care. I want to be able to do wheelies maybe, but I'll sure try. So, anyway, hey guys, thanks a lot. Please like, please subscribe if you like this. Be doing more material like this, and we'll have more fun doing it. We gotta fix this thing. Yeah. Oh. All right, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. And we'll see you again next week. You guys take care now.